Welcome in this third video where we are going to look at the factorization of these two quadratics. If you watched the previous video, you must have noticed that it all started in finding numbers that will multiply to minus 60 and add up to either minus 11 or plus 4 right there. In the previous video, the number here was 6, so it was making it a lot easier for us to find two suitable numbers for the condition we had to fulfill. But now it's a 60 that we have, and if you write 60 as a product of prime numbers, you see that 60 is 2 times 3 times 5. So this means that somehow we need to split these prime factors and to make two factors of 60 out of them somehow. That will obviously multiply to 60, but are also going to add up to minus 11 or to plus 4. So here is how you could approach this. In this one, the product is minus 60. So one number will be positive and another one negative to make the product negative. The difference in between this positive and negative number, I mean the sum, but because one is positive and the other one is negative, will end up subtracting the two numbers that we'll find here, has to be minus 11. It's quite a big difference regarding the numbers that we have here. So one option would be to try and make one small factor from these four guys and one big one that will add up to minus 11 if we set the right signs. So let's try, and if we just take 2 times 2 on one side and 3 times 5 on the other side, we get 4 and 15. You see that if we want to make the sum of these numbers a negative number, we'll have to turn this 15 into a negative 1. So here we take minus 15. So now we end up with two numbers, one positive, one negative, that will multiply to minus 60, and that will add up to minus 11. So here are the two numbers we're looking for, and we can factorize our quadratic as x plus 4 and x minus 15. What if now, instead of the minus 11, we had a plus 4. Now you see the difference in between the two is not so big. So we are going to split these four prime factors into two factors that are not so different one from another. One idea here is to split these four prime factors into two factors that are not so different one from another. So if we take 2 times 3 on one side and 2 times 5 on the other side, we get 6 and 10. And it looks like the difference in between these two is going to somehow match this 4 here. We need the product of these two to be negative, so one of these two has to be made negative. Because the sum is plus 4, see that we keep the 10 as a 10, and we just make the smaller number, here the 6, a negative 1. And if we add 10 and minus 6, we do get plus 4. So this means that this quadratic here would factorize to x minus 6 and x plus 10. What is to be remembered from this example is that it is important to split your product into a product of prime factors when it's a bit big and when you're having difficulties finding the right numbers. Then you can look at the sign of the sum here and the product to decide whether you need positive or negative numbers. Well, I hope this video has helped, and in the next one, we will have a look at less simple quadratics where we have a coefficient in front of the x squared.